Good day, everyone. This is Finally Niels, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hey now, everybody. How's it going?
Hello, everything is going fine here. How are things going on in Bavaria?
Very hot.
Very hot.
Have a Bavarian heat wave going on.
Ooh. It must be the oppression from all the nearby castles.
Yes, I think you're right. It's horrible. Make it go away.
Why did we bring the fire elementals here?
Exactly. Whose idea was that?
Let us now check on the latest updates from the folks at Standing Stone, and we'll begin with the updates relating to the cleric domains and Turn Undead. I have to admit, I don't think I've actually ever used Turn Undead in this game.
I was going to ask you, since you weren't on last week, to hear my epic rant that I went on.
You went on a rant?
Oh, yeah, I did.
What, related to Turn Undead or related to clerics in general?
Related to the forums.
Oh.
In regards to this subject. You might want to listen to the show that we recorded last week. I went on an epic rant, and shockingly, we didn't get any complaints, which I'm surprised. So thank you for not complaining. But we did get a little update, though, over on the forums. The talk is still of these proposed changes to Turn Undead, and community manager Cordovan chimed in, and he says, I will read this verbatim, quote, "When it comes down to it, given a choice between spending development time on a controversial change that isn't needed and doing something else that's more productive, we'll often opt for the latter. We could tweak Turn Undead, but since this was in the super early stages, and we received some very strong feedback that Turn Undead was effective at higher levels, it makes more sense for us to focus on something else. The only reason we were considering working on Turn Undead was because of years of previous feedback that Turn Undead was useless. Now that it is clear that is not the case, it doesn't make much sense to spend development time on it." And as I said last week, this is why we can't have nice things, people.
And then the next post after that is, I'm sorry, but that isn't the case at all. For the vast majority of 20 plus content and the vast majority of players, Turn Undead is indeed useless.
Yeah.
So now it went into flames about...
You can't win. It's like people say it's useless, people say it's not useless. So it sounds like for now at least it's shelved. So I guess we'll see what happens. Hopefully the domains and everything make it in, but I guess as you read this now, Turn Undead, there's going to be no changes done to it. So I'm hoping they change their mind and they do something with it, because it kind of tied into the cleric domains that we talked about last week as well. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But like I said, this is why we can't have nice things.
You can't have nice things because as soon as you put it in, someone says, "Why are you wasting your time on this?"
Yep.
Very well. Now, were there as many complaints about the Artificer and Battle Engineer changes that are proposed?
That I don't know. I actually didn't really read through the thread of responses on this. I just kind of glanced over the proposed changes that are coming. And this was posted by Sealstar, who you might well know is the Artificer fan among the developers. So, of course, it was him that was going to take a look at this. And he says, "Hello. In the not-too-distant future, Update 36, a revamp to the Artificer Battle Engineer, as well as some Artificer class features, will be heading your way. Here's what to expect. For the base class changes to the Artificer, the Rune Arm cooldown is going to be improved by 30%.
All right.
Rune Arm change decay while moving is reduced by 50%. Or charge decay, I'm sorry. While moving is reduced by 50%. There is no longer a penalty to movement speed while charging your Rune Arm.
Yay!
I thought some of these you would be happy with since you do tend to play an Artificer. Also, Artificers will now get Warhammer and Light Hammer proficiencies. Improved critical bludgeoning has been added to the Arty class feat list. Artificer admixture spells now fire straight down if the caster has themselves hard targeted. And he does go on to say that this will essentially deploy it on you, assuming you're standing on solid ground. And Lightning Sphere now has a functional saving throw for both monster and player characters.
All right.
So that is the proposed changes. And then, of course, there's going to be some changes to rune arms themselves. Rune arm shots will now scale with 100% spell power. Most were scaling at 50% or 80% previously. Rune arm weapon imbues now scale with 200% melee or range power, whichever is higher. And let's see what else. Cannonball shot used by the glass cannon now uses horning and
Homing?
cannonball homing. I'm sorry, I cannot read tonight for nothing. I looked at the words and it just get all jumbles. And cannonball shot now has a much smaller projectile, which fixes a lot of bad behavior. So those are the proposed Arty changes. So as I said, you are the Arty player among us. So what do you think about those?
All right. I think this all looks nice. And I see that the response on the forums, I only looked at the first few, but I think the other one, it was always, but the first 5 I looked at, and things like saying, well, time to take my Artificer out of mothballs, and I am hyped, and then a couple are adding for a couple other things also. So,
well, good. Yeah, I can kind of see with their adding the hammer proficiencies and the bludgeoning proficiencies, yeah. I can kind of see a lot of gnome artificers going to be running around soon.
Ah,
since
yes, because
gnomes
I think it really will fit the gnome a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, and that, you know, when I think of a gnome artificer, that's what I think of. I think of a little gnome running around with a hammer. So it makes sense. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, this is going to go live in Update 36. You can go over into the show notes and read the entire list. There is a list up here of the tree changes as well. There's a couple new changes coming to that. But overall, I think it looks pretty good. And Gumsking in our chat room is saying, yeah, I'm going to make a gnome arty with a big hammer. I'm sure you're not the only one.
Yeah, maybe that's what, maybe my monk will reincarnate to an artificer next time. Oh, wait, wasn't that character used to be an artificer?
I was going to say, again, you're going to reincarnate back to an artificer?
No, why?
Why not, right?
Why not? Better than being a monk again.
Oh, poor monks.
I know. Yes, well, you got to consider that. Yes, poor monks indeed. When you consider that I'm only half a monk now after this time. And let's go into the DDO Chronicle, issue 238, where we have looks like a dragon.
We have a dragon. Because, you know, Dungeons & Dragons, so you got to have dragons. So, hey,
yeah,
it all makes sense and ties together. In the community spotlight, there is a YouTuber by the name of Johnny the Savage who's putting up some new videos up on YouTube. So go check that out for some quest runs and some tips. And also the MMO Hopper has checked out DDO. So click over and watch the video and check out their thoughts on DDO. We also have the Fansite news section, of course. DDO Cast had their latest episode where they're talking about quivers and rune arms. So take a listen to that and you can find out what quiver you need and what rune arm your arty should be holding.
With that change after Update 36.
Probably, yes. He's probably going to have to go back and redo that episode. See, that's his timing. It's all about the timing. Damsels of DDO are returning to the harbor for a challenge. See exactly what that is. Full Moon Fury. See, I can't read and I can't talk tonight. What is going on? Full Moon Fury has the worst Sork ever. So click over and read more about that. And some dude named Pineleaf is playing a Dragonborn.
Oh, what a shock. Never would have
over,
thought about that.
click over and watch the adventures of Pineleaf the Dragonborn.
Yes.
You made the Chronicle. How awesome is that?
Oh, well, that is... so that more people can laugh at how I play the class. So I do like spitting out lightning.
Yeah, there you go. See, that's right. And I think that's maybe the second or third time you made the Chronicle. I think you've been in there at least once before, I think.
Well, let's see. I know that on a couple weeks ago I made Lotros.
Well, wow, see, man, you're just around everywhere, aren't you?
Yeah.
Just if you want to find Pineleaf, either look at the Lotro Beacon or look at the Chronicle, and you'll figure out what he's doing, or listen to the like thousands of podcasts that he's on. The easiest way to find Pineleaf.
Now, is this screenshot of the week something I have to look forward to, or is or my favorite soul, or is this an Archon?
No, that is Favorite Soul that is doing the Leap of Faith ability, and it looks like they are jumping off the statue in the harbor, which I don't know how you can get up to the top of that. I know you can. Well, of course you can because you see the screenshot. And I've seen other screenshots of people doing it, but I don't know how you get to the top of that thing.
Oh, there isn't anything in this game like a sinister keg or something like that.
Nope.
No sinister kegs to bring you to the top of weird places.
Apparently, you have to know the secret. But that is an awesome screenshot, though. And, of course, we do have our comment of the week. And this week, the question is, would cold resistance negate the beneficial impact of air conditioning?
Would cold resistance negate the beneficial? Well, I have always thought that cold resistance helps to alleviate extreme cold, but since air conditioning, unless it's turned up way too high, you should at least be cooler than if you were in a hot place otherwise.
Yeah, see, and that was going to be my answer. It depends on how you have your air conditioner set.
Yeah.
And then finally, in the Chronicle, if you're headed to Gen Con this year, you not only can meet me if you would want to. I don't know why you would, but hey, if you're going to Gen Con and you want to meet me, you can find me at the unofficial player meetup, which is the Gathering for Buffs that is going to be taking place on Friday night. And we found out that community manager Cordovan is also going to be there as well. So click over and find out more about that in the forums, find out when, how, why. And just note about that, this is not an official Gen Con event, so you do not need a Gen Con badge, nor do you need tickets for it. This is just a little fun event players are putting together of DDO just to hang out on Friday night. So even if you're not going to Gen Con, but you're close enough to Indianapolis to where you can drive in for Friday night, come hang out with us, which I do believe we're going to be at the Severian Bar, which is right downtown Elkhart, I think is going to be the place for it. So just watch that forum thread and check it out and come hang out with me and Cordovan and a bunch of other DDO players and just have fun on Friday night at Gen Con.
All right. Then let's head into our store sale this week. Anything nice for sale?
There is a pretty good sale going this week. 20% off select adventure packs.
Select. What's the definition of select?
Only a certain few are on sale, and I actually didn't look it up in Game Tech to see which ones they were. But it's not all adventure packs; it's just select adventure packs.
Okay.
I probably should have looked that up beforehand, but I didn't log in to check that. And the Quest XP elixirs also at 20% off, and we have a free sample of the week, which I think this is the first time I can ever remember that we actually had a Ruby as a pre-sample of the week. It is a Ruby of Combustion 30 when you use the coupon code ONFIRE. And that is good through June 15th. I cannot remember any other time where we actually got an enhancement as the pre-sample.
Yes, but isn't that a level 1 enhancement?
Well, still, it's a free enhancement. I mean, come on. Free is free, finally.
Okay, well, you do have a point there. Let's see what's coming in from the dungeon. And we'll begin with the Critical Role podcast.
Everybody has been asking for this. So to celebrate the 100th episode of Critical Role, which that is awesome that Critical Role actually has made it to 100 episodes. How cool is that? They did announce that they are finally going to be making Critical Role available in podcast form. So they are going back and editing down the episodes a little bit. They're still going to be, let's see, I listened to like the first 5, and that was about, they were about 2 to 3 hours apiece. So it's still going to take you a long time to catch up. But
so these are then re-edits of the original YouTube versions or something?
yes. They're just taking the audio out and they're kind of editing down a little bit. They're not doing a lot of edits.
I hope you mean that they're when you said taking the audio out, you mean separating the audio and editing that. Remote there, I thought you said removing the audio. Why would you move that if you're doing that?
Yeah, that would be hard to have a podcast without audio. Now wouldn't. But yes, you can head over to the Geek and Sundry website and check out the first 11 episodes that are waiting for you now. But as I said, each episode is about, depends on the episode, but it's about 2 to 3 hours apiece. But it's a great way to go back and get caught up if you're not caught up with Critical Role, or you just want to go back and start all over. And it's great because now you have the podcast form, so you can take them with you. So you can listen on your commute, listen on the bus, on the train. If you're taking a trip somewhere, you can take Critical Role with you now with the official Critical Role podcast.
And how would you put that into a rating? PG?
PG-13.
PG-13? Okay.
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
Very well. Then let's go from Critical Role to Star Trek RPG. We need another one?
We do. It's been a while since we had a Star Trek RPG, and it's been a while since we talked about the Star Trek RPG that is coming from Modipius Entertainment. Well, you can now pre-order the RPG, which will be available at Gen Con is when it's going to release. But you can pre-order now, as I said. Just head over to Modipius' site. Looks like it is listed on their site at 44.99 British pounds, which I just did a quick $2 conversion. So that is going to be $56.99 American. So which is about right for a RPG. They tend to run about $50 to $60. So right in the price range if you would like to pre-order the books. And then if you want to get real crazy, if you're like a super hardcore Star Trek fan, and you want to have the ultimate Star Trek RPG collection, you can pre-order the Borg limited edition set. It's going to run you $500. Yes, I did say it's going to run you $500, but it's a limited edition.
The money will be assimilated.
Yeah, exactly. Very limited edition. So if you want it, jump on this right now. It features a 1701D edition of the Star Trek Adventures core rulebook, the 4 sets of miniatures, 3 dice sets, exclusive giant Borg edition Game Master screen, a poster map of the Alpha and Beta quadrants, momentum and threat game tokens, a pad of character sheets, and a foam tray for storage of the miniatures. And as I said, the limited edition Borg cube. Got to set you back 500 big ones.
All right. So the people at Modifius decided that 1d20 wasn't enough, so therefore they have a 2d20 system?
Well, of course. One is never enough, finally.
One is never enough.
Yes, this does run off Modifius D20 system, which Achtung Cthulhu uses and Conan uses as well. They tweaked it for the Star Trek RPG, though. But there you go. You can pre-order it now. Look for it coming out at Gen Con or soon after. They are hoping beyond a hope to actually have it ready to go at Gen Con. That is what they are shooting for at this point. And then if you can't make it to Gen Con or you don't pre-order it, it will be available in your FLGS come September. So not too far away.
Well, then if you're going to need 2 D20s, I suggest that you don't use the biggest D20 that you can find in order to play this game, right?
I would agree with you. I don't think you should ever use this D20 for anything but just putting it and people can walk in and say, "That's a big D20 you have." Of course, we're talking about the Table Breaker, the ultimate D20. And this is over on Kickstarter now. This is a 116 millimeter tall D20. So that is 4.5 inches. So let's just let that sink in a second. 4.5 inches.
Yeah, that could. You will fill my fist and my hand.
Yeah, it's as I said, it's 4.5 inches and it weighs about 4.9 pounds. So you could knock somebody out with it. You could break a table with this, hence the name, the Table Breaker. It is made out of fully aluminum. So yeah, it is designed as a beautiful display piece, but it is the perfect accent for any gamer in your life. This is up on Kickstarter now. And once again, if you're going to order that $500 Borg Star Trek collector set, you won't mind dropping the money for this one either. Because if you want the big full Table Breaker dice, it's going to set you back $249.
Yikes! How about if you get the half-size one for only $99?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that one's a little more reasonable, but still. But yeah, this is just crazy. I cannot imagine a 4.5-inch D20. That is just crazy.
I'm just trying to imagine carrying around a 4.5-inch block of aluminum.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you want to? But to put this in perspective, this is about 438 times the weight of a standard D20 dice. So if that can put it into perspective for you. But this is up on Kickstarter now. As I said, this is pretty much gone crazy on Kickstarter. It is actually funded already. They are sitting at 168% of their goal right now. There's 29 more days to go on it as we record this. So they are just knocking down stretch goals as we speak.
I suppose it could have been worse. They could have made it out of lead.
Yeah, true.
Imagine how much that would weigh.
That would take like 5 people to carry it, probably.
Yes.
But yeah, if you're watching the YouTube version of this, I have the pictures of this up on the video you're watching right now. If you listen to the audio, go over to ddoplayers.com, check out the show notes, and you'll see this picture. But this dice, it looks pretty, and it's big, but just why is my question. I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be cool to have one just to like set on your gaming shelf, but not for $250, mind you. But
yeah,
you know.
Unfortunately, the way I knock over a dice, I'll probably knock it off the table onto my foot.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure it would break your foot because it does break a table, because if you watch the video that's on the Kickstarter, they do show this like shattering a table. So yes, the name Table Breaker is the name for a reason. But as I said, this project is funded. So 55 people decided it was worth $250 and jumped in on this.
Well, some of the...
Well, I guess 18 of them chose to get the $99 mini one, I guess.
Okay.
20 people did the 250 big kahuna Table Breaker.
White.
Yeah, it's just one of those.
I say.
You know, it's just one of those. Did we really need this? But man, is it cool, though.
Well, then, let's see. While our tabletop is still in shape because we haven't dropped a Table Breaker on it yet, let's see what's on top of it until then. And we'll begin with the 2017 Diana Jones Award. What exactly is the Diana Jones Award?
This is one of the quote-unquote Big Three gaming awards that are awarded every year, along with the Spiel des Jahres, of course, and the Origins Award. The Diana Jones Award is for excellence in gaming. This is one that everybody likes to win because this is just kind of one of those prestigious, dare I say, snobby awards to win.
Snobby awards.
And I mean that in the best way possible, mind you, too.
Okay.
But yes, they have announced what is up for the Diana Jones Award this year. And we have The Beast, a card game, The End of the Line, a LARP, Gen Con itself. So yes, Gen Con is up for an award. which is kind of funny. Gloomhaven, the board game. The Romance Trilogy role-playing game. And Terraforming Mars board game. All up for the Diana Jones Award this year. And these will be announced at Gen Con on August 16th, which is the day before Gen Con officially starts. So it'll be Wednesday night. They have a big, nice black tie affair dinner at one of the fancy restaurants in town, and they give out the Excellent in Gaming Diana Jones Award. I just think it's funny. Gen Con is actually up for an award. But, it being Gen Con 50, I can see why they need an award, because they've been around 50 years. I mean, that's cool.
So is there only one winner for this, or what?
Yes, there is.
So therefore, it's a hard-to-get award, too.
It is. Yes, it is. And it's, like I said, it's a very prestigious award. And when I made the snobby joke, I like I said, I didn't mean that in a bad way, because it's like a total black tie affair at this dinner. I mean, because I usually go to Gen Con on Wednesdays, and I see the people going to this, and they are dressed to the nines. It is a fancy, fancy thing. This whole awards ceremony is pretty fancy. A little more fancier than my taste. I probably couldn't even afford a plate at the restaurant they're at. But, everybody wants to win a Diana Jones Award, though. So we'll see what happens Wednesday, August 16th, the day before Gen Con.
All right. Then let's head to 12 Realms Dungeon Land, back on Kickstarter.
We told you they were coming back, and they did, and they have funded. As of right now, as we record this, 135% of the goal with 13 days to go. Stretch goals are dropping like flies. Every time I look, another stretch goal has been made. So if you want to get on Dungeon Land 12 Realms, now is your time. As I said, 13 days to go, and this seems to be pretty popular, which I figured it would since they kind of tweaked the Kickstarter a little bit. I didn't expect it to actually fund almost immediately. That kind of shocked me a little bit, but happy for Mage Company to see that the retooled Kickstarter did the trick, and they funded immediately, and they're kicking down those stretch goals. So check it out now, 12 Realms Dungeon Land. And if you want to hear a little more about that, don't forget we did have an interview with the two designers of the game, and I will link that in the show notes if you missed that.
If you feel like you need a stiff drink, then there's going to be a game of Flux for it.
Oh, Flux. How do you describe Flux? Flux is one of those games that you never know what you're going to get because the rules change as you play.
Yep.
And they are starting to bring out, quote-unquote, adult versions of Flux. And another one's coming out. It is Drinking Flux. So, yes, Flux actually is turning 21 this year. So why not bring out Drinking Flux? It just all makes sense. And yes,
if anything in Flux makes sense.
Exactly. And yes, this is exactly what it sounds like. This game is about drinking. And they say, finally, a party game for people who know how to drink. No, a drinking game for people that know how to party. Either way, toast the designated driver, but avoid the forbidden word, and don't forget to pass the card, or you will have to drink. So basically, this is Flux with little rules thrown in that if something happens, you have to drink. And they do state you don't have to drink alcohol when you play this. You can drink tea, or you can drink coffee, or orange juice, or milk, or water. Coke, or water, or whatever you would like. But it's
especially if you're the designated driver.
Exactly. If you're the designated driver, you better be drinking Coke or water. This is very, very true. and they do say this is for 21 and up. And warning, consumption of alcohol is dangerous. It is not required for participation in this game. If you do choose to drink alcohol, please do so responsibly. So yes, so that means get a designated driver. Don't drink and drive. Don't be stupid. But have fun while you're playing Drinking Flux. This is going to come out in July. This will be at your friendly local game stores everywhere. And this just looks really fun because I like Flux, and this would just make it even better. And I could see my friends and I playing this, and yeah, I could see bad things happening when we play this. But yeah.
No, what do these cards say?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there is some really, really, really funny cards to this. Like, for example, there is a card that says there will be a forbidden word. The player that plays the card will say, for example, the forbidden word is, let's just say drink, which would make it really funny in this game. So if anybody at the table says the word drink, you said the forbidden word, so now you have to drink.
All right. And this time you could learn all those wonderful synonyms for imbibe when they're playing the game.
Yeah, exactly. There is also a card that is like RPS drink, and that card will take instant effect. And that is, during your turn, you will challenge another player to rock, paper, scissors, and the loser must take a drink. If you forget to make a challenge, you must make the drink.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's just crazy stuff like that. So yeah, there you go. Drinking Flux coming out in July.
Your Toastmaster. During your turn, raise your beverage of choice and propose a toast of some sort. Okay.
And then if you forget to make that, if you have that card in play and you forget to make the toast, you have to take 2 drinks.
Ooh, okay.
So yeah, this game looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you like Flux and you like drinking, they go hand in hand. There you go. It makes a perfect game night. It's Drinking Flux coming out in July.
What's really weird concerning that card is, for me, Toastmaster means something completely different. And that it means someone who's the lead person at a speech is what...
Oh, I didn't realize.
At a place for giving speeches, or someone who gives... Because there's a organization called Toastmasters International, which is about practicing and learning public speaking.
I didn't realize that's what a Toastmaster was, actually.
Yeah, it's the person, I think it's the person, sort of a master of ceremonies is how you describe what a Toastmaster means.
Okay, I have actually heard that term before, like not in the drinking capacity, and I always wondered exactly what it meant. But see, now I know. Yeah, and the more you know... What it means.
Of course, it's also, I think, a name of a brand of toaster ovens, but that's beside the point.
Well, that too, yeah.
Yeah, that too. Let's head on to our week in gaming. And Drac, what were you up to?
Well, then again, real life kind of crept in on me again. Darn.
Nasty.
I know, real life. What am I going to do about it? I did get a little DDO in. I had my Druid, who is my wolf block right now, sitting at level 9. I'm running through the Slave Lords, so I did the second part, Secret of the Slaver's Stockade. Nothing, major to report on that. I love the quest. I did, actually, I cannot believe I forgot about the bear part, and I laughed when I heard the roar. Like, oh yeah, it's the bear. I forgot. Yeah. So yeah, I love that part. And Travis Willingham just did such a good job with that. Just sounds so bored going roar. So yeah, so probably this week I'll run the last part of that, and then not sure where I'll go next with the wolf block. We'll see. And then elsewhere, I played a couple games for review. I played a little bit more of Black Desert Online. I think I'm about ready to my review for that one. Played a little more of Expeditions Viking. That too, I will have the review up for that soon as well. And then also started on another game that I'm playing for review. It is called Renowned Explorers International Society. And that is a big, long title. But what this is, it's a strategy adventure game where you, it's also a roguelike game as well, and you become a famous expedition leader in the 19th century. You form your own crew with different skills and personality, and you will discover legendary places, legendary troubles. And it's kind of interesting, actually, because it has a pretty cool mechanic to where once you get to what you think is going to be a fight, you might not actually have to fight. You can maybe use your diplomatic skills and like talk your way out of a fight, or you might have to fight. It depends. And of course, the person that you're fighting could also turn the tables on you and try to talk their way out of it. And it's kind of an interesting mechanic. It's a fun game. I'm usually not big into roguelike games, but this is actually pretty fun. So look for a review of that coming pretty soon over at DDOplayers.com. Once again, that is called Renowned Explorers International Society. So if you like adventure strategy games and you like roguelikes, you might want to check this one out. It is available currently on Steam. And that really was my week in gaming. As I said, real life snuck up on me yet again. So it looks like, looking at the show notes, you did a lot, Pine Leaf. So let's hear about what you were up to.
Let's go into my Dragonborn first. First, I went to the catacombs ran the first 3 there. Archbishop's Daughter, returned to the Sanctuary, then I ran the 2 Duality dungeons. After that, I had reached the next level, so I thought, all right, now that I'm level 5, let's go into level 6. Then I went to do Doom of the Witch Doctor and the last move, so I back to Tangleroot Gorge to finish it off finally. Then I went into House Fee and I saw this dungeon called Cage Trolls. I don't recall doing it before. Did we do that together at some point or what?
I know I ran it a bunch of times, but I can't remember if we did or not. I'm going to say we probably, well, I don't know, because we skipped a lot of the House P quest.
Yeah, I think we tend to skip House Fee because that's the main thing I think of with House Fee is that whole thing that starts with that giant in the...
Yeah, that quest.
Yeah, that quest. Therefore, I ran that. That's what I did on my Dragonborn. Then on my Monk, I went into Giant Hold and ran a Cabal of 1, which went reasonably well. Then I went Feast or Famine, and I can't remember what went wrong in there, but I was unable to finish that one. Then after Feast or Famine, I went into the Maze of Madness, and I have to say that I think the compendium lies on this one because it does not say anything. We highly recommend 2 players for this one because the Maze of Madness is the one where you have all these levers.
Oh yeah, that's you would have to have hirelings with you or another player. Yeah, to my knowledge, there is no way to actually physically solo that one without having, as I said, hirelings or anything. So yeah, I'm surprised the compendium doesn't say anything about that, actually.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about that.
Wow, that's shocking.
And eventually, I had to abandon it because it was real fiddly trying to get the hireling to open up the doors. And when I got to the one where you had that door where you had to dive below the water and all that weird stuff, when I got to that one, I just couldn't figure out how to get the hireling to flip the switch for you. So that's where I gave up. So therefore, I then went Trial by Fire, which I finished. Yay, being able to finish one. After having enough of my fill on Giant Hold, then I went to the marketplace and did a couple of rounds of Tower of Frost because I just like running Tower of Frost.
That is just a fun dungeon to run. I like that dungeon.
Right. Then I went into the harbor and decided to run Memoirs of an Illusory Larcener. And while I was doing this, I came to the conclusion of why our hirelings act the stupid way that they do.
I probably have many reasons why they act the stupid way they do. But
I am indicating the usual reasons for other dungeons. I mean for this specific dungeon.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay, so what conclusion did you come to?
I think it is because they put in something to make NPCs stand still. Because you have this room with all of these rangers. And if the rangers were able to maneuver, then you'd be ripped to shreds. So I think what they did is they put in a flag into the dungeon so that NPCs will not move on initiative.
Oh, and you think that's affecting hirelings too?
I think that affects hirelings too because that makes sense. Because my cleric, as long as I summoned the cleric in order to stand beside me whenever I start a fight, the cleric was able to at least do something to keep me alive. but it will not follow me for the world. Naturally, because that hireling just, as if the boots were nailed to the floor.
Yeah, that quest is just kind of...
And that is how just about every NPC you find in that place does the exact same thing.
I guess now that you say that, yeah, that does make sense. I've never thought about that, but you're right. The NPCs do tend to just stand around there until you attack them, and then they'll run to you. So you might be onto something there.
Of course, I also found a real pain that there are no shrines in that place because, yeah, unfortunately, my hireling was completely out of juice by the time I got to the end. So here I am, fighting solo with a hireling that has no power. You can imagine how that went.
Yeah, I'm sure that didn't go well.
But I did manage to get back to the dungeon in time to be able to re-enter it and finish the instance. And I brought in a fresh hireling when I did that, so I was able to finish it at least. Then after that, I decided to try Trial of the Archons, so I ran all 3 of those. And when I was doing the Archons trial, I think that might be the first time where I took the jump side instead of the mechanic side. Because I think if we did it together, we always took the mechanic side.
Yeah, because I'm a rogue, so yeah.
Yeah, because rogue, one time we went there with the rogue, another time, of course, we went in
with your arty, yep.
So therefore, yeah, you take the mechanic side back. So
yeah, I don't think I've ever done the jumping side of that.
Yeah. So therefore, I was doing that with a lot of jumping. I had to be careful with the jumping, that's for sure. But I managed to get through all that without falling off once, I think. So I don't think I fell off a single time there. So
oh, nice.
It helps that I actually had jump skill in my character. Then I did Demon Assault, and I decided that what my biggest trouble I have in playing my monk/warlock, and that is because I've been playing it as solely a monk for so long, I keep on forgetting to turn on my aura when I enter the dungeon.
Oh, yeah, that might help.
Because I'm used to my other warlocks, because on my other warlocks, of course, I would just go in blast mode. So therefore, the first time I attempt to go into combat, I say, oh, yeah, I got to turn on my blaster. So in this case, I'm doing all this fighting and all this stuff, going into the third area, and then suddenly realize I did not turn on my aura. Duh. So I need to remember to do that. And then, of course, finished off with the Devil's Details. So I managed to get through all of that. And for Demon Assault, I did wind up doing the... See, I remember I did an optional there, which was... That's the one where the optional is really, really nasty?
Yes, I wouldn't say it's been a while since I did that, but yes.
Yeah, I try to remember whether it was. I know I did an optional on Demon Assault. I try to remember whether that was the really, really nasty.
Demon Assault has the one optional where you go into the cave and the Merilith.
Yeah. That's when it gets the Merilith. Yes.
Yep.
Actually, the Merilith wasn't. Well, I was going to say it wasn't all that, but if I remember correctly, I did get. She does have a. She must have a Vorpal blade in that mix somewhere or something like this, because there was one time where she gets a crit on one of those swords.
Well, she's got plenty of swords to choose from, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure at least one of them is a Vorpal, because
probably, yeah.
Yeah. All right, on the tabletop, the game I'll highlight this week is one called Cobras, which my copy of that just arrived this week. And that is a trick-taking game for 1 to 5 players. So I was playing that a few times. And I first tried it out with the easy setting and managed to win a couple of games. So I decided, okay, let's try it at medium. And, oh yeah, now the game gets a little tougher. So I'm having some fun with that one. We currently have 23 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to support DDO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention of the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us for an episode of DDO Players News. And this week, we have a featured comment from Moktask on the Table Breaker Ultimate D20. How to justify a $250 block of aluminum that is really, really cool.
And I agree with Mock. How do you justify that?
And we also
I can't think of a reason, but I'll get back to you on it.
Right. And we also have a pair of emails. And first, Patrick from DDO Cast sent an email. And what did Patrick say?
Patrick says, "Hey guys, great job you're doing with the show. Pineleaf mentioned the orbs in Dreams of Insanity, but didn't know what they did. These are chaos orbs, and they cast a random effect on you when they hit you. They can be things like death spells, yikes, teaser transformations, Tensor's transformations, irresistible dance, and so on. But they aren't always debuffs. You can get jump, for instance. It's just chaos. Also, pro tip, if your int, our charisma, our wisdom is too low to hit the runes at the end fight, the orbs can also randomly cast +4 stat spells on you. Al's wisdom, etc., etc. Great show. Salute, Patrick, also known as Shamgar."
All right. Thank you for that information. And we also have an email from Kirkos, who writes about Drax's favorite subject, beer.
Beer.
Dear Drac, we have an annual party at our house that I thought you would appreciate that we call the Beer Tasting Party. I can see you.
I like it already.
Yes.
You had me at beer tasting party.
Attendees bring 2 beers to share as part of the competition. These beers are kept in a separate cooler or kiddie pool from the other beers that folk are casually drinking as we build up to go in time. Each beer, so the 2 beers donated is a beer, is given a letter for the matching game to come. Once we're set, I type the list of beers in letter order from the right column of the ballot and have the numbers on blanks for the left column. Example, okay, 1, 2, 3 on the left, and A, Fat Tire, B, O'Doul's, and C, Miller Genuine Draft.
Okay,
Typically,
let me stop you right there. Number 1, I need to talk to you about your choice in beers. But go on.
Oh, it seems to be a rather broad range.
But go on. I'm intrigued.
Okay, typically we have 15 to 20 beers in the list. I sit in my driveway with a beer wench and two and label small sample cups with the numbers, typically 3-ounce cups. With 20 participants, we go through quite a few cups, so be prepared. Randomly pick a beer from the pool and pour small samples for everyone to taste. All the participants will get beer number 1 at the same time and attempt to determine which beer it is from the right column and put the letter next to the number 1. An important point, make sure you have an extra ballot outside with you to keep track of the beers you're serving. This is the answer key for once your sampling is complete. We have had years where the winner was able to only determine 5 of the 15, and years where a guy determined 15 of 16. You might ask how you can miss 1 in multiple choice. He put the same answer twice, and he was unable to discern Miller Lite from Coors Light, so he put the same answer twice. As an extra piece, we asked the participants to circle the beer that was their favorite. When we go over the answers, we make fun of folks, then pick the non-alcohol brews or the Michelob Best, or Beast.
Why anybody would pick that is beyond me, but okay.
We've done embroidering hats, etched beer mugs, gift cards, etc. for prizes for the winners. Also, the loser, or worse guesser, generally gets a booby prize that has ranged from toilet-shaped shot glasses to plungers with the sympathy card and DYO not joking. I wonder, did he intentionally spell that as looser instead of loser?
Probably not, no. Well, okay. It depends on some of those beers in the list he might have.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Your wits certainly are loose by the time you're done.
Right. That's awesome. I love that idea. That's great.
And if you would like to send us email, you can send it to podcast at ddoplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Ally, DDO Players at DDO Players, Draculeta at Draculeta_72, and Pineleaf at Pineleaf Noodles. The Players Alliance has 4 live shows. Every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. On the first and third Fridays of each month at 11 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have XP Quest. On the last Friday of each month at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotro Academy After School. And every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotro Players News. You can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. This is Piney Beagles reminding you to quest responsibly.